Hey, English learners! Welcome back to Speak Like Leader podcast, your calm place to learn real spoken English through real conversations.
And I'm James. And Zoe? I almost didn't show up today. Seriously, I had a quit everything morning.
Wait, what? You? The guy who never gives up? What happened?
My morning brain was on another level. I was quitting things that don't even exist.
Okay, this already sounds like a drama episode. Tell me everything.
My alarm rang at 6:30. I looked at it and said, "Nope, I quit today."
That's a bold decision made in zero point 0.2 seconds.
Then I went to make coffee, and the machine took like 2 seconds longer than usual.
Oh no, that's basically a life emergency in the morning.
Exactly. I said, "That's it. I quit coffee forever."
You cannot quit coffee, James. That's part of human survival system.
I know. I took one sip and immediately said, "Okay, I unquit coffee."
So you quit quitting coffee. Very advanced decision-making.
Then my bus was late, and I said, "Fine, I quit the bus. I'll just live here now."
You are literally turning small problems into full life stories.
And that's when I realized something important. I don't actually quit things.
You just emotionally quit every 10 minutes.
Exactly. I just react like I want to quit whenever something small goes wrong.
And honestly, many people do that in real life too.
Yeah, we say, "I give up," but we still keep going anyway.
That's why today's episode is special. A soft morning motivation for real life.
Maybe you're brushing your teeth, making tea, or still lying in bed listening.
Or maybe you already feel tired before your day even starts.
But if you're still here listening, that already means you didn't quit today.
And that's actually powerful. More powerful than you think.
Today, we're not here to shout, "Work harder," at you.
We're just here to walk beside you, slowly, like a friend.
Talking about small steps, real habits, and not giving up on yourself.
So relax. Breathe. You don't need perfect English to understand this.
Just stay with us, because today we're talking about something real: success.
So, James, when you hear the word success, what's the first image that pops into your mind?
Honestly, a huge stage, bright lights, people clapping. Maybe someone holding a trophy like they just saved the world.
Yeah, or a luxury car, big house, fancy lifestyle, and social media full of perfect life pictures.
That's what most people imagine. Something loud, shiny, and impossible looking.
But here's something interesting. Real success is usually not loud at all.
Not loud? That sounds surprising. Explain that a bit.
Success is often quiet. It's just people continuing when nobody is clapping for them.
I actually had a student like that. Not the fastest learner, not the most confident, but extremely consistent.
Consistent means she kept showing up again and again, right?
Exactly. She sent me a 30-second English voice note every single day for 30 days without missing.
Even on bad days? Even when she was tired?
Yes. Sometimes she sounded sleepy, sometimes stressed, but she still did it anyway.
That's actually more impressive than doing something perfectly once.
Exactly. And that's the funny part. Some students started with big energy like, "I'll study 2 hours daily."
And let me guess, after 1 week, their 2 hours became maybe tomorrow.
Exactly. Their motivation slowly disappeared like Wi-Fi signal in a tunnel.
I can feel that situation so clearly.
But that one student, after 30 days, she didn't become perfect English speaker.
But she became confident, right?
Yes, her voice was calmer, more natural, and she wasn't scared of mistakes anymore.
That's real growth, not perfection, but confidence building slowly.
Exactly. She didn't become famous. She just became someone who doesn't quit easily.
And maybe that's the real definition of success. Continuing when it gets boring.
Or continuing when nobody is watching you.
Or continuing when your brain is saying, Just stop, it's enough.
And honestly, that's where most people give up. Not because it's hard, but because it's boring.
Boring is the real villain of success, not difficulty.
True, difficulty makes you stronger, but boredom tries to make you quit.
And if you survive boredom, you automatically move ahead of most people.
Exactly. So maybe success is not about doing big things. It's about not stopping small things every day.
But James, even when we understand all this, sometimes the journey still feels unbelievably long. Like you're standing at the bottom of a huge mountain, looking up and thinking, how on earth am I supposed to reach that top?
Yeah, I know that feeling very well. Because when you look at your big dream, like speaking fluent English, getting a better job, or changing your life, it doesn't feel like a simple task. It feels like something massive and almost impossible at first sight.
Exactly. Your brain immediately zooms out and shows you the whole distance instead of just the next step. And that's when fear quietly starts growing inside you.
I remember when I started running. Even 5 kilometers looked like a joke at first. But not the funny kind of joke. More like, this is never going to happen in my life kind of joke.
Same here. Sometimes numbers alone can scare you more than the actual work.
But then, someone told me something simple that completely changed my mindset. He said, stop looking at the mountain as one big thing. It's actually just a collection of small steps.
That's actually powerful, because suddenly it becomes less about fear and more about process.
Exactly. He told me, today you don't run 5 kilometers. You just run 5 minutes. Then tomorrow a little more. And slowly, your body builds the distance without even noticing.
So basically, the secret is not jumping to the top, but slowly becoming the kind of person who can climb it step by step.
Yes. And I think it's the same with English learning too. People see B2 or C1 level and instantly feel like it's a huge wall blocking their future.
But in reality, that wall is made of many small things. One word, one sentence, one conversation, one podcast like this.
Exactly. Nothing is magically big. Everything is built from small, repeated actions that look too simple to matter in the moment.
And that's the funny part. The brain always underestimates small actions because they don't feel powerful immediately.
Yeah, like reading one page in English feels useless in the moment, but doing it every day quietly builds your confidence without you realizing it.
And after a few weeks or months, you suddenly look back and think, wait, I can actually understand more than before.
That's the moment people call progress. But it was never one big moment. It was always small, invisible efforts stacking up.
So maybe the real secret is not motivation, it's patience with small steps.
Yes, because motivation comes and goes, but small habits quietly stay and do the real work in the background.
And if you think about it, even that student we talked about earlier, her success wasn't one big breakthrough. It was just 30 small voice notes.
Exactly. And each voice note was like a tiny rock added to her personal mountain of confidence, and slowly that mountain started to feel climbable instead of scary.
And the most interesting part is, she didn't treat those voice notes like something optional or flexible. She treated them like a rule she simply could not break, something fixed in her day, no matter how she felt.
Yeah, she made it non-negotiable, which basically means there was no debate, no negotiation, no, maybe I'll do it later. It was just something she did automatically, like brushing your teeth every morning.
And that's such a powerful mindset shift. Because when something becomes non-negotiable, you stop using your feelings as a decision maker and start using discipline instead.
Exactly. Because let's be honest, if we start negotiating with ourselves every day, our brain will always choose comfort. It will always say, skip it today, start tomorrow.
And tomorrow is probably the most popular word in self-improvement that never actually arrives.
True. So she removed that option completely, and instead, she just said, no matter what happens, I will do 30 seconds of English every single day.
And the funny thing is, 30 seconds sounds almost too small to matter. But that's exactly why it works, because it's easy enough to start, but powerful enough to build consistency.
Yes, and that's something many learners don't realize. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency over time.
Like, doing something small every day is way more powerful than doing something big once and disappearing for a week afterward.
Exactly. And she proved that in real life. Because while others started strong and slowly faded, she stayed steady like a slow but unstoppable train.
And that's where the real difference shows. Not in starting, but in continuing when the excitement is gone.
But Zoe, let's be honest. Life doesn't always feel fair, right? Sometimes people are supportive, sometimes they're not, and sometimes everything just feels like it's going against you at the same time.
Yeah, and in those moments, it's very easy to fall into a mindset of, why me? Or, nothing is working for me anyway.
And that's when people often start standing on the fence.
Right. On the fence means you're stuck in between, not fully changing, not fully giving up, just frozen in the middle without direction.
Exactly. You're not really moving forward, but you're also not completely letting go. You just stay there thinking and overthinking.
And while you're standing there, life keeps moving, but you stay stuck in the same loop of thoughts and complaints.
And sometimes that leads to something deeper, self-sabotage.
Yeah, self-sabotage is when you actually start blocking your own progress without realizing it. Like saying you want to improve, but doing things that take you further away from that goal.
Like saying, I want to learn English, but then spending hours scrolling social media instead of practicing even a little bit.
Or saying, I'll start on Monday, and then Monday becomes a weekly promise that never really turns into action.
I think most people have been in that cycle at least once. Big plans in the mind, but very small action in real life.
And the problem is not intelligence. It's usually consistency and emotional discipline.
Yes, because our emotions are very powerful, and when we feel tired or unmotivated, they quietly take control of our decisions.
But the truth is, even in those moments, we still have a small choice. We can either pause and reset, or we can continue the same pattern.
And that's where discomfort comes in, because growth is never comfortable at the beginning.
Yeah, our brain loves comfort. It loves routine, easy choices, familiar habits, and anything that requires zero effort.
Like staying on the sofa, watching something easy, eating the same food, scrolling the same apps. It feels safe and relaxing.
But your future version of you, the stronger, more confident version, usually lives outside that comfort zone.
Exactly. And stepping outside that zone often feels like an uphill battle.
Uphill battle means something that feels very difficult and tiring, like you're walking up a steep hill and every step takes extra effort.
And when you're in that moment, your mind starts giving you excuses like, just stop, you're not ready, or maybe this is not for you.
But that's exactly when you need a simple inner sentence like, uncomfortable now, stronger later.
Yes, because that reminder helps you see beyond the present feeling and focus on the future result instead.
And sometimes you just need to tell yourself, snap out of it.
Right, like stopping the negative spiral and bringing yourself back to action instead of emotion.
And we're not saying never rest. Rest is important. But don't let comfort become your permanent home.
Because growth doesn't feel like a warm blanket. It feels more like a cold shower at first.
That's so true. Uncomfortable at first, but later you feel awake and alive.
And maybe right now, for someone listening, this episode itself is your small, cold shower moment. Just a reminder that you're still in control of your next step.
And if this feels a little uncomfortable right now, that's actually not a bad thing. It just means something inside you is waking up.
Yeah, because comfort never really changes you, but honest discomfort can quietly push you toward a better direction.
And one of the most important reminders today is this: you can always begin again.
Yes, so many people think, I already failed, so it's over for me. but that's just an old story you keep replaying in your mind.
And stories can be rewritten. You are not stuck in one chapter forever, even if it feels like that right now.
Sometimes life gives you a wake-up call, a moment that shakes you and says, hey, it's time to change something.
Like realizing your health needs attention, or feeling unhappy with where your life is going, or even missing opportunities because of delay.
Those moments can feel painful, but they can also become powerful turning points if you choose to respond instead of ignore.
And that's where something important happens. You start flipping the script.
Flipping the script means changing your old life story into a new one, like upgrading your mindset and actions at the same time.
So instead of saying, I always quit, you start saying, I used to quit, but now I keep going even when it's hard.
Instead of, I'm not good at English, you start saying, I'm learning English step by step, and I'm improving slowly but surely.
And even, I'm too late becomes, I'm starting now, and that still counts.
Because the truth is, your life is like a notebook, and you always have the power to turn the page.
You don't have to repeat the same story just because you once started writing it that way.
And the most beautiful part is, your new story can begin with something very small, almost invisible.
Like 10 minutes of English practice today, or one small decision that says, I'm not done with myself yet.
And that decision grows through tiny daily choices, the boring but powerful ones.
Like drinking water instead of skipping it, reading one page instead of none, walking for 5 minutes instead of staying still.
In the moment, it feels too small to matter, but over time, those small actions build an entirely new version of you.
And that's why today's mission for you is very simple. Just record a 20-second voice note in English about your day.
Or write just 3 sentences about how you feel right now. Nothing perfect, nothing complicated, just honest.
You can keep it private or share it with someone you trust, but the most important thing is to actually do it.
Because if your brain says, it's too small, you can gently ignore that voice. Small actions are exactly how big changes begin.
And remember, mountains are not climbed in one jump. They are climbed step by step, rock by rock.
And before we end, just one important reminder. Showing up matters.
You showed up today by listening till the end, and that already says something positive about you.
You didn't quit on yourself today. Even if your day feels messy, even if you feel tired, you're still here.
And we're really proud of you for that. Seriously, even small progress is still progress.
So thank you for staying with us till the end. This is James.
And this is Zoe.
You've been listening to Speak Like a Leader podcast.
Keep going. Even slow progress is still progress.
Keep going. Even slow progress is still progress.
Don't quit on small problems because your future self is watching your small choices today.
Take care of yourself and keep learning.
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.